A few days after I was discharged from the hospital, Emily showed up at my house. She stood in front of me with a basket of fruit, looking slightly apologetic, and said, "Juliana, I'm so sorry about the other day. That airport was so big, I went around in circles and couldn't find the exit, so I had to ask Mikey to come pick me up." Sitting on the sofa, I looked at her coolly and said nothing, just feeling the noise buzzing in my ears. Michael poured Emily a glass of water and chimed in. "Juliana, don't read too much into it. Emmy's a year younger than I am, and I've always taken care of her like a little sister." "Yes, exactly," Emily added. "My mom and Mikey's mom have been best friends for years, and our dads are old classmates. So, Juliana, just think of Mikey and me as siblings." Listening to the two of them in sync made me raise an eyebrow. Michael placed the fruit basket Emily brought on the coffee table and said, "Juliana, Emmy just got here and is still staying in a hotel. I'm going to help her find an apartment, so you just take it easy at home." Emily gave Michael a sweet smile and said, "Mikey, you're so considerate. No wonder Mom and Mrs. Johnson said I should come to you after graduation." I couldn't listen any longer. "You two better get going then. Don't waste any time, it's not good for her to be staying in a hotel alone." Michael seemed surprised by my words. "Juliana, you're not upset, are you?" He had a point. Every time Emily called saying she felt down, Michael would patiently comfort her for ages, even if we were in the middle of a date. I remember once, after celebrating New Year's Eve in Times Square, it was nearly impossible to find a cab. We had to walk through the crowded streets. Emily called then, saying she felt lonely being away for school in another city, with no one to spend New Year's with. Michael stood there for an hour, consoling Emily until his phone battery died. On New Year's Day, I ended up having a huge fight with Michael. He accused me of being immature, saying I was starting the new year off on the wrong foot with all the arguing. So, when I urged them to go ahead and find an apartment, Michael was a bit surprised at my indifference. "I'm not angry. After all, she's like a sister," I said. Hearing this, Emily pouted a little and told Michael, "Mikey, you're so lucky to have such an understanding girlfriend like Juliana. Unlike me, who just causes trouble for you." I couldn't stand Emily's pretended innocence any longer and promptly showed them the door. Finally, some peace and quiet. When Michael returned that evening, I had already showered. He mentioned he'd spent the whole day helping Emily find a place and hadn't eaten dinner yet, expecting me to cook. In the past I would have quickly obliged, heading to the kitchen to make his favorite meals. But today, I looked at him coolly and said, "I'm tired, and I need to rest after being sick, so I'm not cooking tonight." Michael seemed taken aback again. "Juliana, you were like this when you were chasing me," he complained. Indeed, back then, I promised I cooked delicious meals, learn cuisines, and keep the household organized. After graduation, as we moved in together, I followed through making breakfast early, cooking dinner after work, and preparing his lunch. For the past year, my biggest worry was him missing meals, fearing he'd upset his stomach, something that would pain me greatly. But now, I simply didn't want to cook anymore. "Think whatever you want," I replied infuriately. Michael appeared genuinely shocked, seemingly unprepared for such a response from me, the one who had always been so accommodating. "Oh, and by the way, since I'm still recovering, you'll have to sleep on the couch from now on. It folds out and should be fine," I added. That seemed to anger Michael. With no dinner and no bed, he snapped. "Juliana, do you even know what you're saying?" "Sure do," I replied nonchalantly. "So, good night." With that, I left him there and went back to my room. A half-minute later, I heard the door slam shut. Michael had left. Perhaps to find Emily, I didn't know, and frankly, I didn't care.